Okay, so now we are talking about Cancer. Cancer is the first water sign of the zodiac, and it is the second cardinal sign of the zodiac. So cardinal, as we discussed when we talked about Aries, are the signs that are go-getters. They're the initiators of the zodiac. They're the ones that like to start new projects. Cancer is a very emotional sign. You know, their element is water. And water element is all about emotions and breaking down boundaries between two people. They like emotional closeness. They like to be all enmeshed in a partner. And that might sound bad if you're a water sign. It doesn't mean you're crazy or like super needy or anything like that, but you do tend to be very emotional, especially Cancer. They're very, very emotional sign. And they're the initiators. They're the cardinal water. So the things that they initiate tend to be rather home-centered. They're homebodies naturally. They don't like to be out in big groups of people. They tend to be quite introverted. Of course, as with any sign placement, this can be altered by other things in the chart. You know, you might have like your moon in Sagittarius or something, and Sagittarius is of course expansive and fun-loving, but generally Cancer energy is very, very homebody, very inward focused. Cancer is also considered the mother of the zodiac. They're very nurturing people. They like to give what they have to give to the people that they love in their lives. They are going to give all of themselves to you. They're going to make sure that you're comfortable when you come to their home. It's very important for them to have a good home environment, mainly because, you know, it's where they have people. It's where they take care of their loved ones, and they want it to be beautiful. And they want, when people to come over, that's a source of pride for them, especially if Cancer, the sun is in Cancer, because sun is our ego, and Cancer is home. So it's very important for them to have a beautiful environment and be able to invite people over and be proud of their home space. They're very domestic generally. They're just sort of like the guy or girl next door. They're natural mothers, and they sort of tend to try to mother everybody. Cancer is the type to want to take everybody under their wing. I know a Cancer woman who says there's like all these young adults that hang around her, and they all call her mom, and she calls them her kids. Of course, they're not her kids, but she has no problem with them calling her mom, because that is like her. She's the mother. There's many Cancers who don't want anything to do with parenthood. I think the main thing, though, with Cancers is not that they will be parents, they will be a mother, or they will be a father, but it's that they have thought about it. They're going to take care of the people in their lives, and they have thought about the concept of parenthood. It's not really something they're on the fence about. They've given it some thought, and they either do want to be a parent, or they have decided it is a hard no and they do not want to be a parent. Generally, Cancers have thought it out. And I've heard Cancers more than any other sign say, I do not want kids. Cancers don't have to be parents, but they tend to be natural parents to everyone around them. Just as a mother is with her children, Cancer is very protective of the people they love. And they will fight to the death for you if they love you. But just as they are protective with those that they love, they are very protective of themselves and their hearts. Now they're represented by the crab. The crab is this creature, this soft little creature, that is surrounded by a hard, impenetrable, well, not impenetrable, but very difficult to penetrate shell. Cancer is that crab. Cancer is the soft thing in the middle, and they have this hard shell around them to keep them from getting hurt. Now, Cancer is very, very emotional, but they tend to do this whole pulling back thing. You can often completely miss how emotional Cancer is because they don't want you to see it. They hide. They're still there, but they're in their shell. Cancer can be very focused on the past and very nostalgic. This can be detrimental to them in the sense that they dwell too much in the past. And I can tell you from personal experience, I am a Cancer rising. So much of my outward personality and the way I sort of view the world is Cancerian. I have spent a lot of time focused on the past. My sister is a Cancer sun, and she does this also. We spend a lot of time focused on the past, reliving old memories. Now, here's one way that my sister and I differ, is that Cancers have excellent memory. And I'm not like that because I'm an Aries sun, but she's a Cancer sun and she can remember everything. I can't tell you how many times she has said to me, do you remember that one time when we did this and you were sitting on the bed and I said this and then you said that and then I gave you a doll, and just, I'm like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. But Cancers remember everything. They're very family oriented also. Their families are just very important to them. They love their families, and they love those home comforts, the things that they remember from their childhoods that made them feel safe, that made them feel good. They are going to really remember those things, and those are going to be really important to them. So if you are dating a Cancer, you kind of find out what was important to them in their childhoods, or what made them feel safe in their childhoods, and sort of try to recreate that for them. It's going to give you at least 10 points. With Cancers, there tends to be something very familiar about that. It strikes you as kind of the guy or girl next door. Just something about them just makes you think you've met them before. You haven't met them before, but just something about the way they carry themselves, just so familiar to you. That's, more often than not, that's going to be a Cancer. Because there's just something about them that's very familiar, just makes you think of your past. Or they'll just manipulate situations. It doesn't even have to be emotional manipulation. Sometimes it's like I said, they're intuitive. So they use their intuition to see what's about to happen, and then they have this puppet-like control. They'll do what they can to keep whatever's about to happen from happening. Might lie, they might... I had it happen to me. I had a Cancer sun outright bold-faced lie to me to keep me from doing something that she knew that I was going to do if she did not intervene. And truth be told, it was none of her business if I did it or not, but it got messy because of how she reacted or how she handled the situation. And that's what I mean. They can be just manipulative and emotionally manipulative. Cancer's also very intuitive, almost to the point of being psychic, and many Cancers have intuitive gifts. They can pick up on your emotions, or they can, sort of tell the future in dreams. I mean, I've done this. I have other planets in Cancer. My Mars is in Cancer, and I've got my rising in Cancer, obviously. I'll have a dream, and then the very next day it happens. Or I've dreamed about something years before it happens, but it's very specific what happened in my dream. And then years later, I go to the exact same place that I had never been to before in my dream, that I went to in my dream, and same sequence of events. Except for the flying part. In my dream, I was flying, and I was not flying in real life. But I did go to the same place in real life that I did in my dream. And that's just sort of like a random example of the kind of intuitive gifts that Cancers can have. I know Cancers who have been able to actually predict events, and that's on the higher scale of what I mean by intuitive. But generally what I mean by intuitive is just being able to pick up on what's going on around them, being able to detect a pattern of the things that usually happen. It's pulling information from their environment and making sense of it on a subconscious level to see what's about to happen. That's just all intuition is. It's not necessarily psychic abilities or, predicting that something terrible is going to happen at 2 o'clock on Tuesday. It can just be, based on things that I have seen in the world around me. And from my frame of reference, I think I know what's going to happen here. I think I know that this relationship between these two people is going to end. I think that this is headed for a disaster, but there's nothing I can do about it, Cancers can be very intuitive, and it is a gift. So now for the dark side of Cancer. Think about the negative manifestations of being highly emotional. You can get moodiness, not really knowing how to handle your emotions, so you just kind of lash out at people, or you refuse to speak to them, give them a silent treatment. That's not a healthy way of dealing with your feelings, and that can be something that Cancer does. Because if they don't know how to express their feelings, but they still have them, they have to react some ways, and they might just pull away from you completely. You can also get depression. Depression is common in Cancers because they are so emotional and they tend to be very cynical and very pessimistic. So depression is something you often see in a Cancer Sun in particular, that I've seen. You can also get a level of emotional manipulation. They might withhold parts of themselves from you, or just... I've seen Cancers play the victim a lot, and this is something Cancer and Pisces have in common. They can play the victim. I know they have a little bit of a martyr complex. It's really, really common with Pisces, but with Cancer it is prevalent also. They can have this sort of martyr complex going on, and they will not outright tell you that you hurt their feelings or that you upset them, but they will sure as heck act like it, and that kind of mope around and, refuse to talk to you, just kind of, that's alright, but you can tell that there's something wrong with them. And that's common. They would rather manipulate you than tell you what is bothering them. And that's not the case with all Cancers. I know plenty of Cancers who, like, say, my sister, she tries her best to communicate. Sometimes she does the typical Cancer thing where she just would rather be moody. She does try to express herself, and she doesn't constantly play the victim. But I have seen it. I have seen it with Cancers before. You can also get some neediness. Typically, Cancer is not going to put themselves out there and be all over you, just 24/7 trying to be up your butt. But it does happen. You do get the occasional Cancer, especially if they have like planets in Leo, which are a little more brazen. You do get those Cancers who just wear their heart on their sleeve, and they're always emotional. They're always, crying about something, or, just putting their feelings out there for the world to see, which, it's healthy to express your emotions, but putting it all out there all the time, there's got to be some balance between hiding away and not ever expressing yourself and putting it all out there for the world to see at all times. So that was a brief synopsis of Cancer. Please subscribe to my channel. I will have Leo out very soon.